writing that book like medication for you that help you through these things? And as a mother, did you see the same thing happening as she was writing the book? Did you see changes? Did you see healing?
Yes, I did. There were times when I knew that when she started to get a little discouraged, as she began to, really get into the book and meditate even on the word, I think the Lord was really giving her how to do the book, how to present it, and it was helping her because it gave her something else to think about other than the pain that she was in. Sometimes people want to dwell too much on their pain, but if you can just transfer sometimes your thoughts, you will begin to heal and that pain will become lesser. A lot of times people just want to look at the problem and not the solution.
Right.
But there comes a time when you really need to go beyond yourself, go beyond that flesh. And I saw Kim do that. She's a fighter. She's determined. She's always been like that. I mean, from the time she was a little girl, she's been very determined. I remember Kim I believe she was 15. When she has her heart set on something, she goes for it. At 15, she volunteered. I didn't know she was doing it at the Riverside Hospital. It's not there now. And it just amazed me that she would do that and go and volunteer herself as a candy striper because she was interested then in medicine and helping people. And it's never left her. And even in her sickness, it just didn't leave her that she wanted to be a blessing. And I've always taught her anyway, we're blessed to be a blessing.
That's right.
And it's not always just about you. That was real important in our family to realize this is not just about you. And there are other people that are going through things that are even worse than what you're going through. So, you should never just get all into yourself and, oh, me. A lot of people, whoa, woe is me. Well, that wasn't her. That's never been her. She's going to do what she has to do, and she's going to do it to the best of her ability. And that's what happened with the book. She just kept going. And I'm like, okay. I said, wow, I didn't know I birthed an author. But she certainly proved, that she was able to do it, with the help of the Lord, and here we are today.
And I just thank God for my mother because she always was there to push me and to say that you can do it. And just like with the books, she 100% behind me. And, to answer your question from my standpoint, yes, it was a healing process for me every time I wrote because God used someone else that was in my life to say, it's not that you are not still part of the healing process for someone. You are, but you're more like a coach now. The team is important, but the coach is important as well.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn how to switch roles. And as we learned today in church, I had to reposition myself. It wasn't that maybe the problem was not completely gone, but I had to reposition myself to change what I was doing to do another form of healing.
Yeah.
I had someone that read the book. Actually, one of my publishers are a JL Publishing Company out of Broomall, PA. But my publisher told me, he said, you're going to affect a lot of men as well when they read this book. This book is not just for women. I don't know what your intentions was or who you thought your audience was going to be when you wrote the book, but it's going to actually affect a lot of men as well. And so I said, okay. So it was funny because the first two customers were men that bought the book. But one of them came back to me like that next week, and they say, I can't put the book down. I want you to know, because one of the issues that is discussed in the book is suicide. He said, I was going to end my life. He said, I hadn't even told my wife. He said, but when I read that book, it empowered me. It changed me. And I wanted to live. I seen a reason to live. And that's what all of my books are designed to do, to empower and to encourage and inspire people to move past whatever their problems are or issues. Well, you know, life just doesn't deal us all a gray hand all the time.
Right.
And we do experience loss. But he said, I decided to live. That is my reward. It's not so much, that's why it's in the libraries, because it's not so much about making money off the books, but it's about ministering or healing people. And so for someone who cannot afford the book, they can go to the local libraries and check the book out. Sometimes I understand there's the book is out and people might even contact me and say, I went to get the book and it wasn't in there. I say to you what the library was going to tell you, just place the book on hold. They will call you as soon as the book gets back in. This book changed my life. It's also not just in the community as far as libraries, but it's in the Kingswood Center in Wilmington, Delaware. It also has allowed me to speak to different groups that are in that will come into Bear Library to motivate them to be able to write, to be able to do things they never thought they could do before. So it's opened up different realms for me to encourage people and inspire people as a speaker as well. So this book is for the community. It's for the state. I understand that somebody took it out of state.
Out of the country.
Yes, and the person ended up writing back to them. It spoke volumes to them. So that's what it's designed to do, to change and impact this world, to encourage you so that you know that there's nothing you can't do and that you are somebody.
One of the other realizations that Chatter comes to in there is that she can't be lukewarm.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
You can't be. If you didn't hear what she said, is one of the things that Chatter brings out is you can't be lukewarm. A lot of times we want to live two different lives, and that's what Chatter did for a long time. Just as we said, my mother is my pastor, but she knows out of everybody that for a long time I struggled with having a relationship with God as having a relationship without him, just being out there with no covering, as they say, in the world. And one thing I found out, things always work out better for you, even when you're going through. If you think about Job, for those of you who know about Job in the Bible, when you're going through, you're covered the best and have the best results when you are with God. So I had to make a choice whether I was going to be hot for God or I was going to be cold. I could not live this one life in front of this woman and then live a whole nother life in front of my friends or people that I thought was my friends. So the Bible even has a verse that talks about, you know, I will spit you out, you know, you either be hot or cold. You can't be in the middle. Some people call it riding the fence, straddling the fence. Well, that's a hurtful process. So I will leave that to you to think about. That's a hurtful process right there. You don't want to play with that. So that's what I meant by that.
Okay. Now you have something coming up in November. So
Yes.
you want to talk about that?
Yes, in November, the 17th, and I believe they're going to play they might play a little segment of that commercial, but November 17th at the Route 9 Library and Innovation Center on Newcastle, Delaware. Our sponsor is Soldiers for Christ Resource and Referral Agency, which I'll have Wendy talk more about that. But they're sponsoring a group of us because this is part of their vision as well. But we're going to come together collectively to help restore the community. It's all about restoring and empowering the community. These speakers that are going to join me are people who have lived in some capacity or have had some kind of loss or have been a person that used to have low self-esteem or who've experienced violence. A lot of the issues that we talk about in Shattered are going to be brought to the forefront. People who have contemplated suicide, people who have been abused, been victims. We're going to have resources there available for you. We're not just going to have you come, but we're going to actually have you have a section where you can ask questions. You can even do it anonymously, but there's going to be a group of us there to talk about a little bit about what we might have went through, but where God brought us to now. One of the speakers that's going to be there, I love her. She's another person I grew up with. Her name is Dell Scott. Her and her husband are going to be part of this restoring effort that we're going to do with the community. And we grew up together, and there's a lot that she went through that people would never know because she's a fashion designer. As a matter of fact, she's my fashion designer. And if you saw the clip before I came on, I had on the black dress. Well, that's a Dell Scott original.
I knew those sleeves.
Yes,
I knew those
sleeves
sleeves.
were Dell's. That was Dell Scott collection, and she is my fashion designer. But there's a lot of story behind that, and I believe that her and her husband can help impact the community. I'm also excited because I have wonderful pleasure of working in a different avenue than being person that's being interviewed, because Shauna and Dwayne are also going to be a part of that big day, and that's November 17th, and it starts registration at 1 o'clock to 1:30, or you can call 302-530-2143 to register early. It's free. Come in. There's going to be door prizes. There's going to be a chance for you to, if you openly want to ask us questions after we speak and do our presentation, or anonymously you want to ask a question, you're going to be able to do that with freedom. We want you to have a free space. There's going to be another couple there who's actually experienced violence in a different way because they actually lost their son through violence. I don't know how many of you are watching live in the state of Delaware and in Wilmington, but there's been a lot of shootings in Wilmington and in Delaware. And a lot of people that will be joining our team, they've also lost children to this type of gun violence. So this is a big issue right now. So we need to touch the community, but also show them how they can come out of different parts of their lives from the past, or that they're trying to come out of now. And also we're going to have resources available to them that they can actually take with them, and they'll have numbers and information of how, who do I call if I'm feeling this way? Where do I go? If I'm experiencing this, what can I do? They're going to be able to take that home with them. And again, they're going to have a chance to meet some wonderful people. And it's going to be a wonderful day. We're going to have fun. We're going to have light refreshments. We invite the whole community out. And I know that just from the people that I'll say that the Lord handpicked, you're going to have a good time. And you're going to experience a sense of empowerment to live again. And that's what I said, to live again, a happy life. You're going to be restored. You're going to be renewed. You're going to be a different person when you leave that place. And so I'm excited about it.
So am I.
Just like I said, we're trying to do things to step up and, step the community up. But in doing that, we must inspire the community. And, that's where I want to say that I wrote a book called A Season of Faith Building. Right now, a lot of people don't have faith because there's so much going on. Just as we were praying, there's been a lot of bomb threats, there's been a lot of shootings, there's been a lot of violence going on even around the world. And people are losing faith, they're losing hope. They think that there's nothing out there. And so this faith devotion actually gives you scripture and little illustrations about that scripture that will increase your faith, that will encourage you. And I love it because this one was dedicated to my grandson. And it was dedicated to him because we took him to the zoo in New Jersey, Cape May, New Jersey. And his name is Kassan Singleton Jr. And it says, "This book is dedicated to my oldest grandson, who has shown me at a young age the true act of walking in faith despite his age, his size, and experience. He is a true believer that there is nothing he cannot do. Thus, there is nothing you cannot do through Jesus Christ." And I used him because my grandson's probably about that high. That's it. And everybody that was in the zip line, because he wanted to do zip lining.
At 5.
Yes. Everybody that was in that line was adults. There was like a couple kids about that high, but he's this high. He's the littlest guy. "Oh, Mama and Papa, I want to do zip lining." I said, "Oh, honey, you don't want to do that." I mean, this little guy had more faith than I did at that point, because I'm like looking like, this is not happening. There's no way that he's going to be able to do this. He went to put the helmet on. The helmet was too big, but he didn't care. He said, "Just put it tighter, just put it tighter." And he's all, gung-ho about doing the zip lining and everything. And I just had to laugh because he actually did it. And he had courage to move on to the highest level where I did not have that faith. And he did it. And there's no way some adults would even do that. But he had the faith to do it. He didn't look at the rest of the people or their size, but he stepped in and he did it.
That's amazing. And that's going to be a story that you guys will tell for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So thank you so much,
Thank
Cherish,
you.
for coming on. And
Thank
Wendy,
you. You're
I'm
welcome.
so glad that you guys are here. And
Okay.